What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. My name's Will. This is the Music City Disc Golf Podcast, episode 76. It's April Fool's Day, 2020, and we've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to be joined by VW Dave out of Ontario, Canada, who is with Dead Man Discs, or is Dead Man Discs, ambassador for RPM Discs out of New Zealand, and the brain behind the latest, well, the only craze in disc golf right now, the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge, which I'm sure everybody has seen on Facebook if you're not participating. It was a lot of fun. We actually just finished talking to him. Great conversation, and it was really interesting to hear about all the ins and outs of what's involved in this huge global phenomenon that is allowing us to come together and still play some disc golf. So really encouraging stuff, really awesome stuff. We had a blast. I'll quit rambling and let you enjoy, but please like, share, rate, review, and subscribe. Click the bell if you're watching on YouTube. That'll help us get into more people's headphones. Again, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show, and we will catch you on the flip. Peace.
Let the bass kick.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, episode 76. It's April Fool's Day.
What? That means we're not really having a show? We're just pretending.
No, the fool is we're having a show.
Oh, I fooled you. I fooled you guys. So good.
Yeah, so
Just
it
fooling
is,
fools.
it's April 1st. We have taken a little bit of a break. It's been a couple weeks since we did a new episode, and we wanted to come back. We've missed you guys, and we wanted to catch you up on everything that we've been doing. We've got a really cool show lined up tonight. We've got Mr. VW Dave all the way from Ontario, Canada, who is the brains behind the latest craze in the disc golf world, the only craze due to the viral lockdown. But we're talking about the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge that's got hundreds of people from all over the world participating. Are all you guys participating in the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge?
I've joined the group on Facebook, but I have not done my putts yet. It's a little too chilly today.
I have not done them.
I have not. I've been busy, but I can't wait to try it out.
Yep.
Make as many putts as you can from 20 feet. Correct? I know there's different rules.
Oh, I don't know the rules yet. Somebody can let me know. Can't wait to try it.
Yeah, so it's 20 feet. You have to set up a PDGA approved basket, and so you have to, in your video, you have to go live from the group page, the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge group page. You have to go live from the page. I mean, we can have Dave tell us all about the rules. He'll be able to explain it way better than I can. And he's waiting in the wings. But real quick, before we dig into it, we don't have to do a weekly breakdown right now because all of the organized play for Music City Disc Golf is currently shut down. We're staying at home.
Squid Pro Row.
Squid Pro Bro. Yeah. But I miss you guys, man. We are taking a break from meeting in the Sapphire Lounge, and that's kind of a bummer. But we are trying out the Zoom video conferencing software for the first time tonight. And so far, It seems to be working much, much better than Skype. So
we are Zooming, guys.
We're zooming. We're really zooming.
Zoom. Wow.
Yeah.
So let's go around the room real quick and do a check-in, see what everybody's been up to. Jay, how's the quarantine treating you?
Quarantine. The quarantinos. It sucks, bro. I'm an essential worker, though, they say. Not that I'm very essential at all, but so I've been at work. I've been trying to do that and then maintain a household of children who are not in school and a fiance who is currently off work as well from the whole thing. So other than that, I'm trying to do that and find some time to play disc golf in the yard if it's possible.
For anybody that's new to the show, we'll go ahead and do introductions. I'm Will McCaskill. But directly below me, you'll see Jay Skinner. And then to my is that my left? I don't know. That's Zach. That's Dr. Hoy. And
No,
I'm listening.
Dr. Roy's, he's at the corner.
and then down
How do you
there,
see all of them? I just see one
you have to go to gallery view.
gallery view.
Yeah. But I'm coming to you from outer space, clearly. Where
Yes.
where we got dynamic discs written in the stars. But
Am I pointing to you?
yeah, who's over there?
Oh, not pointing to you? Am I pointing to you now?
Yeah. From a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I don't know. We're somewhere on the spectrum, that's for sure, out there in the clear blue yonder.
We're not going to say which spectrum, but
No, like the ether spectrum,
right
out there in the cosmos.
So, Marcus, I know you've had a lot of stuff going on. You got furloughed from your job. You've been out of work. I know this thing is really impacting you. Tell everybody what you've been up to.
The majority of my friends, all the coworkers I have, we've all been furloughed. We've all been given the opportunity to get unemployment. We've all filled out the application online, and we're all still waiting for the first payment. I've only got one friend who has actually got the payment. He worked at the Husk restaurant, and they were one of the first, restaurants to furlough their employees so they can get unemployment quicker. So he did fill it out a week before me. I've definitely kept up with the restaurant industry group. There's a lot of groups on Facebook, online, and there's also a lot of restaurants around Nashville that have been taking an opportunity to give out free food to anybody, to restaurant employees. There's even something online where Guy Ferrari is actually trying to give money to some employees that have lost their jobs because he's a big restaurant industry mogul. And I guess long story short, I've been staying at home. I've always stayed at home, actually, but I've always had mixed feelings, because I've worn my mask to work to Kroger and places I go to just to protect myself. I can show you my picture right now. It's quite ridiculous, and when I say it's ridiculous, is because now all of a sudden going to Kroger with a mask on is okay.
Right. At first, they were saying something about not to wear your mask around people. Like even to healthcare professionals, they were saying, "Don't wear your mask because it's going to scare people." But now they're saying, "No, wear your mask. Everybody wear a mask everywhere you go, all the time."
Oh yeah. I actually have a Kroger mask in my car. It's like I keep
Nice.
it in the glove department. So when I go to Kroger,
Yeah.
I put my mask on. It's like, all right, let's go.
I've seen some crazy masks working at Costco. Everything from looking like they're surviving a nuclear apocalypse to insulation masks. It's all over the spectrum as far as masks go.
I guess on a more personal note, where my son, his grandfather lives out in Gallatin. They had that big scare out there. That was actually, he hasn't been to that place in a long time, but it was really close to he could have been there, so it really hit close. This is great. It really scared me. It shocked me.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear all kinds of crazy stories. I know, at Vanderbilt, I'm basically on call at work right now. I'm only going in if they have something for me to do. But I haven't been there in about a week, and my wife, as of today, or as of tomorrow rather, is going to be working from home. Her entire department is going to be working from home. But I saw that almost 100 people that work at Vanderbilt Medical Center, where I work, have tested positive for COVID-19. So that's pretty scary. I just found out last night, my cousin Asha, who's she's a nurse of some kind in Chattanooga, she got the call from her manager that she'd been around a patient that had it. So she has had to isolate now for 72 hours to see what happens. But But
Yeah, the healthcare update.
Yeah, give it to us, details.
Well, in Davidson County, we've had 423 cases when they last updated. I think it was yesterday, and 4 fatalities. and also in Sumner County, which is, I think that's Gallatin, right?
That's what I was talking about.
Hendersonville. I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
Gallatin.
Sumner
It's Gallatin.
is, they've had 201 cases and 7 fatalities. And there's been a total of 24 fatalities in Tennessee, and there's 2,683 cases. So Tennessee definitely is a hotbed of activity. We've seen an increase in patients coming to be evaluated. My main thing is that only come to the ER if you need life-saving medical treatment. If you think you may need to be tested, but it's not like an emergency, there's an Apple Coronavirus 19. It's like an app that Apple put on. You can answer the screening questions, then they will direct you to a testing site. There are a lot of drive-through testing sites, Nissan Stadium parking lot, Meharry Medical College, an old Kmart parking lot. Like there's at least 3 sites, but in different counties, there's drive-through sites where if you feel like you're sick and need to be tested, but you're not emergency sick, then you can go seek treatment there. And then also in the hospital now at TriStar Centennial Medical Center, everybody has to wear a mask the entire shift. Anybody, unless they're not around patients at all. So, and they screen everybody. Like you get they have a thermometer, a non-touch thermometer, and it basically, they have to screen everybody that's coming in. And if you have a fever, you're told to go home. So it's getting pretty severe. And then there's also a thing with certain people that HCA just came out with that they're paying up to 70% of salaries because now they're trying to work on, if you're in a doctor's office, you might, because they're trying to cancel, they have a thing about you can only do certain types of surgeries. Like you can't do elective surgeries, and there's like type 1, type 2, type 3, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So a lot of people that work in the medical industry have not had their offices open. And so they're also being affected, but then certain ways they can get redeployed in other high occupancy units. So we all have contingency plans. I know Vanderbilt does, we do, and we get updates every day. And it's a daily evolving, and it's all prediction based. I mean, we're predicting that the peak will be over the next 2 weeks, but that's why it's difficult to completely nail down.
That's really scary stuff.
Yeah, and still the best thing is, not being around other people, good hand washing, and it's easy to say but tough to follow at times, especially there's support groups forming for, a lot of people feel isolated right now and doing their normal things. And that's why I know a lot of people are itching to get back out to the course and things like that. But if we can, seek support from that, call your friends by FaceTime, call your family. It's important right now because a lot of people's bedtimes are changing crazy. They're going to sleep, 3, 5 in the morning watching TV and then waking up in the afternoon. And so make sure you get a good sleep pattern, getting good nutrition. A lot of things that sound basic, but they're important right now.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and send the link to our chat here to our guest, okay. VW Dave. We'll bring him in because one of the ways that is turned out to be really helpful with trying to encourage everybody to stay home has been the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge. It's an activity that everybody can get involved in and be competitive and still feel connected to everybody. And really, it's the only game in town right now. It seems like everything else is pretty much shut down. This is the only really high-profile thing we've got. And I had a conversation when I was talking to Dave earlier today. It's just really surprising to me that nobody else has invited him to be on a podcast or do an interview with him, because I'm really excited to know what it was that led him to the idea of doing something like this. And I know he's not the only person involved. This is a product of, or a production of RPM Discs, Dead Man Discs. A whole bunch of different people are collaborating to make this happen. But I'm pretty interested to just kind of see what his thought process was, because I just started participating. I missed the first week, and it seems like this is like a really, really in-depth, on the administratively in-depth kind of project. He's doing random prize drawings. He's doing weekly prize drawings, all sorts of stuff. So
It's a wonderful idea for our sport, especially right now.
yeah, it's filling a huge gap, a huge void that, I mean, like disc golf is life.
People can only take
All right.
people can
I'm
only
gonna
take so
sign
much
up.
Tiger King, you know.
I'm going to sign up right now. Okay.
Do it.
Sign up, Marcus. Why
All right.
didn't you sign up earlier? We talked about this earlier.
I was so busy. I was cutting trees down.
Somebody send this man a Facebook invite. You got to be approved. You can't just sign up. You got to be on the list, Marcus.
Oh, really?
If you look at the page, it looks like it's really complicated and kind of hard to get into, but I just did it for the first time yesterday, and it's really, once you get your basket set up, you've got your distance marked and measured, and you've, crossed your I's and dotted your T's, then it's smooth sailing from there.
Well, why don't someone send me a link? Where's my link?
Get on Facebook and search for Global Pandemic Putting Challenge.
All right. Here we go.
Amy Meekum, as a matter of fact, just went live. And if I'm not mistaken, if it's the same person, I think it may be from Park City in Huntsville.
Yeah, down in Huntsville. Bunch of them have been doing it. We've had a bunch of Nashville locals that have been doing it. I know we've seen Sarah Sinclair has been on there. Robert Zavala, our own Big Z, he jumped in there. Jeff Castellina and his son went on a complete tear yesterday, as did our own Caleb the Cannon Webster. I don't even know how many times he had to walk back and forth from the basket picking up all of his putters because he just could not miss. It was like on and on and on and on and on. It was fun to watch.
Hey, fellas.
Oh, hey.
Well, hello there.
Hey,
Sad
so-
days.
I'm
Hey,
You
using
seem
my
to be
phone.
traveling.
I have my phone in
Nice.
portrait mode. Is it causing a problem for you guys? Because I know it looks like you guys are on your computers, right?
portrait mode is great, but it, for whatever reason, it's got you like turned
Sideways.
90 degrees.
Yeah, I figured as much. Maybe I should jump back in on my computer then. If I put it, I don't know where. Well, I guess I can.
That works.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because you guys were showing the opposite way, so I figured you guys were probably all on laptop.
No, that works, man. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you.
This is a real treat for us. We're excited to talk to you. I was just saying how interested I am to see what your thought process is like for this whole thing. But for the audience, this is VW Dave. And that is the only
everybody.
name I know you by.
What's up, buddy?
That's pretty much what everybody knows me as, is VW Dave. It's been a nickname that was given to me many, many years ago, and it just kind of stuck.
Okay. Big fan of Volkswagens, I suppose.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, cool. So what's your collection like? You have a ton of Volkswagens?
No, unfortunately, I don't have a nice collection. Just always been in love with them. It's all I've driven for, over 20 years now.
Okay. So for everybody that's not familiar, I mean, obviously there's a ton of people that are participating in the putting challenge, and you are clearly the face of all the videos that are coming out. You're the one doing the drawings. You're the one kind of interacting with the audience there on the page. So tell everybody at home and us a little bit about yourself, how you got into disc golf, how this all came to you.
Well, I've been playing disc golf for over 10 years now. I fell in love the first time I actually went out to a course. I had no idea about it. A friend of mine had said, "Hey, my dad told me about this Frisbee golf thing." I'm like, well, I'm intrigued. So we grabbed a couple ultimate discs. We went to the course that was local in town, and I fell in love right away. And I just basically kept playing, figured out that there's actual discs for it, did some research, started ordering a bunch of different discs, and just got hooked.
That's awesome. How
Yeah,
old
I was
were you?
gonna
Did
say
I miss that?
Sorry, what was that?
How old were you? What was the time frame on this? I might have missed that if you said it.
This would have been, so I would have
Maybe
been
2010?
probably about 29 or so
Okay.
when I first found out about the sport.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, hey.
No, it's funny
the
that
question
your story
I was
starts
about.
with.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say it's funny that your story starts when you've played with an ultimate disc because I've seen so many people. That's what they do the very first time they go out there and play. They've got a dog frisbee or an ultimate disc. And they get out there and start winging it. And it's like most of them you don't see stick to it, but it's kind of cool that you fell in love with it and you started with an ultimate disc.
Well, I always loved golf, regular golf, and I ended up injuring my back, so I couldn't really swing a club anymore. This just kind of tied in. It filled that void of what I was missing, right? It's the same thing, just a different instrument. All played the same,
Absolutely.
feel the same. So it just really clicked with me. It filled that void that I was missing with golf, and it's just more fun, way more fun.
Yeah.
Golf.
It's a lot more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm much better at it than ball golf. Ball golf is it's a rough one.
Much more affordable than ball golf. as
Much
well.
more affordable. Yeah, just for your
Yeah,
green fees for the
that's
day,
the
you
bonus.
can get a few discs.
Yeah.
Sure. And that's
So-
probably not just a casual place. You go somewhere like super high end resort style, you'd be paying a lot more than that. Buy you
Yeah.
a grip 6-bag for a green fee.
Pretty close.
Dave, I know we've talked a little bit, but just to introduce you to the other guys on the show, you can probably see on your screen, we've got Jay Skinner right below me, our friend
What's up,
Marcus
buddy?
Rogers, and Dr. Zachary Hoy. So,
Hey guys,
Jay,
thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time out of your night to be with us.
Oh, no problem.
We're all cooped up like everybody else. So like last week we didn't do a podcast, and so we've been brainstorming all week on how can we get something out there since we can't meet in the studio.
Yeah, we'll do all
It
the
works
hard
out
work.
really nice.
Yeah, I went down
Marcus,
the
are you in
YouTube
the
rabbit
studio
hole
right
last
now?
night. Figured it out.
Yeah, me and Will were test calling.
Yeah, we did.
I
a
will
little
say that
testing.
there's a smidge bit of a delay because I think it takes a second for you to register somebody else's talking.
I don't know. I think it might be that we're just a little bit out of practice from these 2 weeks because I keep just like I keep trying to jump in on top of everybody. I thought I got over that, but old habits die hard, I guess. But no,
Anyway,
Dave, tell us because I know there's a whole lot of people involved in the putting challenge. It's become a global, as the name implies, kind of thing. And there's a lot of people involved. So I know some of the names that I've seen that I'm not as familiar with, such as like Dead Man Discs and things like that. What are your, I know you're a part of Team Dead Man Discs and you're also a part of Team RPM out of New Zealand. So I don't know, tell us a little bit about your sponsors and who else is helping you move this thing along.
Well, personally, me, I am Dead Man Disc.
Okay.
It is my shop. I started that up 5-6 years ago now. We're located in Fergus, Ontario, up in Canada, Great White North. So yeah, it's the only way I'm going to get on a team, right? Make my own shop, put myself on the team, right?
You're
That's
not the
how it
first
works.
person to do it, man. I know our
that's right.
friend
You can't join them, beat them, brother.
our friend Alan
That's
Posey. Our friend Alan Posey has a little outfit he calls Alpo Disc Golf, and their slogan is "Sponsor
Oh, yeah.
yourself."
That's the way it is.
I mean,
So,
don't
yeah,
most disc golfers anyway?
Yeah,
pretty much.
sponsored
So,
by ourselves and our wives.
Our this started up with the owner of the Goat Towel, a good buddy of mine. He's a part of my team as well. I sponsor him. He just started up the Goat Towel. Awesome towel. If you guys need a towel, it's the only towel to get. He came to me and he's like, stuff's going on. Like we can't play. So we're thinking we need to do something. He had the idea of doing this putting challenge. So we went ahead and ran with it quickly. We started talking about this, I think, Monday morning, and we went live with the group on Tuesday morning. We were just getting things going really quick. So we decided, we're going to do these couple. At first, we only had like a male indoor-outdoor and a female indoor-outdoor divisions. And then we ended up adding the juniors in because it was just the two of us at that time that was going to be supplying any of the prizes. And it's not about the prizes. This is totally about what's going on in the world right now and giving all of us something to do. Since we're all feeling the same situation. We're all in the same situation right now across the whole world. None of us can play. Courses are closed. Let's do something for everybody to be safe at home and still connect with the community. So we went ahead and decided we need to do it live because we're doing as many putts as you can do from the 20-foot mark. It's not a set limit of you got 30 putts, how many can you hit? It's you putt until you're done. So we needed to be live. Otherwise, I don't think we'd ever catch any of these zero club people, all the zero heroes. People are one and done. Come on, if you gotta admit, if you're recording it, you're going into a competition like this, you're not going to submit a video if it's only 0 putts, right?
Right.
You're going to keep going. So we needed it live. We wanted that pressure. We want to still have that kind of competition feel. Something is on the line.
Sure.
There's nothing on the line. It's just bragging rights, right? You might win a disc or something here or there. That's great, but it's all about bragging rights and having fun. So, we had to make sure it was live so we could catch those nothing putts, right?
Those
And
knuckleheads
everybody's
trying to
loving
get by.
Everybody's loving the zero hero, the zero club, whatever everybody's calling it. It's a lot of fun to watch. So that's just kind of how it came out. It started out with me and Craig and our buddy Dave. He's another guy that I have on my team, and we went ahead and pulled in Craig's wife Jen. She's on our team. Craig and Jen are both sponsored by RPM as well. And we both pulled in another teammate, Tammy. She's in New York, and we just got the thing running. And then it took off. It took off fast, even within that first day.
Yeah,
the numbers
super fast.
In. So we had another local friend, Jen. She did her video and then sent us a message saying, "Hey, is there anything we can do to help out?" She went ahead. She created the forms that you're filling out when you're done your putts. That all gets put into her spreadsheets that she has there. That's automatically always updating. So that leaderboard is live. It usually refreshes every 5 minutes or so. So she went ahead and did all this stuff in the background for us and just made our life a lot easier because we were trying to do all this stuff manually. That was going to be a pain with over 3,000 people in the group. Now we got, the last time I did the raffle was about 570 entries we'd had at that point.
Wow.
So we just got into week 2. We hit 3,000 people within the week. I believe it was.
I know I joined
that week.
I think I joined yesterday and you approved me either last night or this morning. So
Yeah.
It's definitely catching on.
Full disclosure. So I saw it. I was invited to it by, I forget who was the first person to tell me about it and tell me I should be looking at it. And I looked at it and immediately I had like, how am I even going to do this? Because I live in a really small townhouse and I don't have a whole lot of space. So when I'm practice putting at my house, I usually have like a traveler basket that's tucked in the corner of my patio, like boxed in by the corners of my privacy fence. And if I stand at the direct opposite, furthest away point on the patio within the parameters of the privacy fence, I'm like maybe 20 feet. So in my head, I kind of like tossed the idea around for just a second and then gave up on it and was kind of like, it's just, I guess I'm not going to be able to do it. Cause I was using excuses like, well, it says you have to do it on your property and, all this stuff. And then I saw the video, the compilation video that you released like maybe a couple days ago that showed all like clips of all the submissions from the first week. And that was what sealed the deal. I saw so many of my friends and people I knew that were doing it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to do it. Plus, Robert McCall sent out an email to all the team saying, you guys need to go and participate in this. So I was like, yes, sir.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I was talking to Bobby Brown. I think it was either later Tuesday or was Wednesday, just after we got it kicked off, just to see if maybe he could. Wasn't looking for, like I said in all my videos, we haven't approached any sponsors. Everybody has stepped up and approached me. So I just reached out to him just to see if maybe he could be willing to share it out across the DD page, just so we can get a little more exposure. And he stepped up right away. He's like, I can't get into the office, but here's 10 discs. Let me know when they're ready to be sent out. When I get back in the office, we'll send them out. And then he told me he was gonna make sure that he passed it out to the Trilogy team members, the West Side, Latitude, and DD members as well. And that's what we want. We'd love to see some of these top pros come out and do this because we're all human. It's 20 feet. We can all hit 20 feet, right?
Right.
It's just
sometimes
when you go live, Yeah, yeah. When you go live,
I know I could do it at least 4 times in a row.
Is that what you got, Will? 4?
That's what I got. My first attempt. Yeah.
You did better than me. My first one indoor, I only got 3. I joined the Zero Club on my outdoor on my marksman basket, but
The first thing I said,
me too.
the first thing I said when I did it was, "Let's see if I can join the Zero Club." That was my favorite part of the whole video.
It's a
Somebody
big
needs to
club.
get shirts made that say like Zero Hero from the
Yeah,
Yeah,
I survived the
Coronavirus
global
pandemic
pandemic
putting
putting challenge.
yeah.
Well, we
Or a
just
one
sent
and
off
done.
a little image that a local guy here, his Facebook name's Judge Havoc. He's doing some art and stuff. He did up the little some artwork that we used for some of our frames that we did for the challenge. He just sent me another piece of art with Zero Hero on it, all done up. I think we're gonna do something with it. Probably not gonna get things stamped, but we're gonna do something with it to give out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do
that's
some minis maybe or something like that.
Oh, sorry, what
Maybe
was that?
some minis.
Towels?
We're gonna do something. We'll do something
He's
with
like,
it.
I'm not telling you anything, bro. Some minis.
I like towels.
Hey, I'll let this out here now that I haven't told anybody else yet. So if you did scour the page at all, you would have seen that I did a post that Innova Canada, Daryl Banks from Innova Canada, he stepped up and gave us a traveler basket from Innova for the juniors to raffle out. We put a limit at, we wanted 20 juniors at minimum, and then we'd unlock that prize. We hit that right away, and I'm still holding on to it. I'm not going to give it out yet. I want to wait till a little bit later, get more juniors in on it. But RPM has stepped up, and they are going to give us one of their brand new Discmate baskets that they have. They're a portable basket. Full metal basket, beautiful basket. So I haven't posted yet that we're giving that away. So I'll give you that a little exclusive here.
nice scoop.
Oh,
Nice.
watch out.
I'll give you one more.
We like
I'll give you one
scoops
more.
here.
I should have grabbed it. I'm hoping it'll happen. I just went ahead and I have my own backpack line manufactured. So I have my first bag coming in. It's a full-size backpack, and we're calling it the body bag by Dan Mandel.
Nice.
I have the prototype upstairs. I should have grabbed it and brought it down, but I got word that they're supposed to be shipping them this week. So if they ship them this week, I'm hoping I have them by the end. And I plan, if I have them in time, I want to give one of those away to somebody that's been into the group as well.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
man.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet
How
looking
many
bags.
years? How many years in the making is the bag? How long did it take you to do that?
The bag has been probably about 6 months now.
Okay.
So not bad.
No. Anything that you're willing to divulge about it, about your technologies or anything that sets you above any of the other bags out there?
Nothing, like there's nothing super special about it. It's
Okay.
a regular full-size backpack. You easily get 24 discs in the main compartment. You got slots on the sides that will give you another spot for 4 putters or whatever else you want to put at the sides. Huge pouch in the top. All black, red piping, red stitching. Sorry, not red stitching, red piping and red zippers. 2 huge drink holders, 2 big pockets on the sides as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like the price point, for you guys in the States, the price point I'm trying to aim it at is about $100 US.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
That's
That's highly affordable.
good.
It's
Yeah,
and it's not
that,
it's not a total soft bag too, like a lot of those bags that are in that price range.
yeah. Well, that's
very
some,
Yeah, so I hope everything works out because I'd love to give one of those away during this challenge as well.
Well, we definitely love to at least push it and get people signed up for you, so you can do that. That's really cool. I really like it's neat because disc golf evolves all the time, and we talk about it on the podcast about just the future and how disc golf has evolved from where it started and where it's at now. But it's really interesting to see how the bags have evolved, not just the disc, not the players, but even the bags and the equipment that you carry.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see different people putting their mark on the game with different types of stamps like that with the bag and stuff. It's really cool.
So what was
Yeah,
the
well, we don't have any manufacturers in Canada that make a disc golf bag right now. I think I will end up being the first one that's releasing a bag in Canada.
Well, congrats, golf clap
golf
for
snaps?
sure.
Golf
Yeah,
clap?
golf
Golf
snap.
snaps. Yeah,
That's really cool.
That's a really cool little accolade to have on your belt. What was the primary focus of your company when you first got started? Was it apparel or just like kind of custom stamps? What was your beginning with Team Deadman with Deadman Discs?
When I started up Deadman Discs, I was running my local club at the time, so I wanted to make sure that we had some stuff for our finale that we were having. So we would and CTPs throughout the year and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it started, and I kind of just stayed in my area for the first little bit, and then I just started touring around with everybody else. The main focus really is it's all been done out of the love of the sport and the community here in Southern Ontario. I try and everything that comes in, I try and give it all back out to events or clubs. I sponsor a nice number of clubs across Ontario, plus a nice number of events as well. I'll either donate a bunch of prizes for, I've done some cash sponsoring, set up at the events and stuff. Anything to help out with the events for the growth within the sport of Ontario. That's what I'm all about. Clothing, I'd love to totally have a full clothing line. Just apparel really sucks to stock. All those different styles and sizes. So I do some of my own apparel. That's mostly what I do carry. I don't usually carry a lot of like the actual disc manufacturer apparel. I'll just do a lot of my own custom stuff.
Cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
I was interested in the Ontario disc golf scene. Are there a lot of tournaments and a lot of clubs? I know you said you sponsored some clubs. I'm just curious of what the disc golf vibe is like up there.
I forgot you were here, Dr. Foy.
I'm listening, Jay.
Always.
The scene is great. We do really have a nice, tight community. Everybody is very willing to help out and make sure that the clubs, the courses, and everything are upkept. It's blowing up. Like I just started for this year. I started a tour throughout Ontario. Supposed to have about 12 or 13 flex tour stops, and then we're going to do a final at the end. Everything's on hold, right?
Sure.
So it was hard to try and get these dates. There's something happening almost every weekend throughout the season here in Ontario.
That is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
It's becoming the norm all around the world now. I know that's been our case. It's impossible to get anything scheduled to begin with. And then when something like this virus happens and you have to start postponing stuff, I mean, once these recommendations get lifted, I shudder. I dread to think about all of the work that's going to have to go into rescheduling what events you can. I mean, some of them you just are impossible, like GVO.
There's no way.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to get some updated lists on what's going on, what has been moved, what has been canceled, see what kind of dates I can scoop up to make up for April and May. I don't think anything's going to happen in May, so I got to make up at least those 2 months of those tour stops. That's got to be at least 6 of them there just in those 2 months.
Sure.
Did you get connected with RPM Disc for New Zealand? Like New Zealand, Canada
RPM.
type.
It's like top and bottom of the world, basically.
Exactly.
Right? Just looking for something fresh and new that I haven't seen. That's what I've always tried to do, is try and bring in and test out some of the smaller companies that really haven't blown up yet, don't have that big name. So I came across RPM. I looked into them a bit, sent Keith a message. We started chatting and told him, hey, here's an order. It was like 150 discs to try out, 200 discs, just to see what the stuff was like. Never touched one of their discs before. As soon as I opened that box, I don't know if you guys have ever touched any of their plastic or seen any of it. Amazing, gorgeous stuff, really nice feel. So I was hooked just from the feel of it. right, taking the first box out before throwing anything, just to feel the disc felt great. I started trying out some of their stuff and kept talking with Keith. Their stuff kind of blew up in Ontario and now across Canada.
Okay.
I've been shipping a lot of their stuff straight through across. And talking to Keith for a little while, he saw what I was doing and promoting their brand and offered me to join their ambassador team, which I was stoked to
Awesome.
do. With running the shop, you don't get to play as many events, right? You end up working them or running them, and you don't usually get to play them that much anymore.
Sorry about that. It's a bad time in my household.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so being offered an ambassador spot was great. You know, that's awesome. I'm not touring around like they're pros or anything, so I would never expect to be up on one of those higher levels at all. I'm just happy to push a product that I believe in and I like.
That's a very similar story
Absolutely.
with me and Dynamic Discs. I worked with them pretty exclusively on all my events for years, and was just asked this year to join their ambassador team. And
No way.
That's awesome. Congrats.
thank you.
Like DD, Latitude West Side, like that's all I bagged from. Like Latitude was all I was bagging basically from 2010. I just started bagging RPM for the last 2 years. It was all Trilogy. That was all I started out selling too, was just Trilogy stuff.
I did see a picture of you on your Facebook rocking the Team Trilogy patch on your hat. So I was like, me and this guy are going to get along.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of patches, a whole bunch of hats made up for the Team Trilogy Canada guys when I joined the team. We did a big order of hats for us. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I know I'm about to. Yeah, I was speaking of the RPM guys, Keith and them. We had them at our flagship event this past year, the Music City Open. I think Jay probably got to interact with them more than probably the rest of us because he was kind of getting all the vendors set up at Ravenwood.
I do remember meeting the guys. I believe, for the life of me, I cannot remember the young man's name, but he came up to me and just asked if he could sell some of his stuff, and I told him he obviously couldn't have any of the amateur payout because he kind of asked about that, but it was a really cool thing, and I think he sold a few discs. It was something I had never heard of, and I thought that was just neat to see. And then when he came up to me at the players meeting, because he actually played the tournament, and of course it caught me and Dr. Hoy a little bit by surprise with the accent. Of course, Ashley was sitting there. She's like, "Where are you from?"
Of course, in Nashville.
But, so we got the story. Yeah.
In Nashville, if you have any kind of a foreign accent, everybody assumes that you're from Australia. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're from Ireland or Scotland or Germany or Papua New Guinea. It's all Australia. But speaking of geography, I'm about to illustrate my ignorance to you, Dave. I do this with all of my Canadian friends. I just assume that you all know each other, even though it's like the biggest, most expansive space on the face of the planet. But I'm sure you're familiar with at least a couple of my friends up there. Dustin Fournier in Toronto.
Me and Dustin have been buddies since 2010.
Yeah, Dustin's great, dude. I love him. And my other ones are Chad Smoliak in I want to say British Columbia. I'm learning my provinces at least, and I have at least one more friend that's like in the other side of Canada. But how much do you guys?
Steve McNeil's in London. He's on Team Latitude.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then Dusty is like Hamilton area.
Mm-hmm.
Those two guys I've hung out with numerous times.
How much do you guys? Do you have any kind of circuit play or anything like that you normally participate in between different provinces? Do you have any kind of a tour or anything equivalent to that nature going on that gives you opportunity to kind of get together? Because I know, like in America, we're not as big, but it's like things like the Glass Blown Open and things like that. We all kind of come from everywhere and commingle with each other.
Yeah, like not. Not really as much as what you guys kind of see, because you guys have the bigger base of players than what
Yeah.
we do, and courses. Right now, like the main event in Canada that is really drawing a lot of pros that everybody's traveling to is the Canadian Nationals that happens in PEI.
Okay.
So I know Sexton has been there the last 2 years. Last year, Macbeth was there as well.
Okay.
So that's
All right.
that's the one where most people are traveling to. The other one, it hasn't happened in the last couple of years, is the Toronto Island Maple Leaf. That used to be that I would see a lot of people traveling through across country to go play that one.
Oh, sweet.
So
I'm
I have
hoping
to ask,
my tour, my final at the end of my tour becomes that people are going to start wanting to travel across country, come up from the States more, and start attending.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like we had the FCO in London last year that was an A tier, and we had a few pros out there. Barsby was out there playing it as well.
Do you ever make it down stateside for anything? Is that something that you're?
I was at GBO a couple of years ago.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Got rained out, but what can you do? Other than that, mostly I end up going to New York to play my one teammate Tammy event that she does there in New York every year.
Okay.
Most of the time I'm a little busy running, setting up at events and stuff around here to kind of travel into the States, plus with the family and everything. It
Yeah.
gets a little tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm curious.
Go for it, Jay.
Oh, to kind of go off topic of what you were just talking about, just the specific which events. I'm curious as to course hazards there in Canada, because we all deal with different things in different regions of the United States. From the southeast being Florida, you have to deal with alligators and snakes. Same thing in Tennessee as far as snakes and stuff. But I'm curious because I know Canada is not known for its deadly poisonous snakes. So are there any critters you got to watch out for out there on the courses? Bears, perhaps?
Not in Ontario, not at least in southern Ontario. Maybe you go northern Ontario, you might have to worry about some bears. Mostly, no, not really so much on our courses here. It's just ticks, right? Lyme disease. You might see the
Ticks,
the odd
obviously.
deer. Yeah, you might see the odd deer roam through, but other than that, no, nothing out of the ordinary.
No
Nothing's gonna
grizzlies.
bite you and
That's
kill you.
no grizzlies or anything. That's kind of disappointing. I was
No.
looking for some harrowing tales of wildlife encounters from the
Do you
great
like
wild north.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of
ketchup
wilderness
flavored-
there, so
Ketchup
Southern
flavored
Ontario's
potato
too
chips.
populated.
got
Ketchup
three-
flavored potato chips. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. You don't get
You
that
also
down
have-
there.
What is that? Is it poutine or something?
Poutine.
Gravy and
Poutine.
Was that an accent?
I was trying not to say the word that everybody's thinking I was trying to say.
Were you trying to do an accent there? Is that
No,
your
I was
accent?
not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Poutines. Poutines are where it's out, man. Fries, gravy, and cheese. Can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
I mean,
it has
sounds
the
delightful to me. I
strangest
love
name.
gravy.
It doesn't sound delightful when you say poutine. The name of the food itself is kind of off-putting, because I know like the first couple
Yeah,
times
when
I
you
heard
got
it,
the foo in front, right?
right, and then it does sound like the
I've
what
never
Jay,
heard of this.
Jay tried. Jay just
Yeah.
tried to change it into poontang, and so it's like this is also now becoming a borderline inappropriate kind of thing. But
No.
but when you read the list of
Somebody gotta
ingredients,
explain this to me.
but when you read the list of ingredients, that's like, yeah, man, this is something all Americans could get behind for sure.
Yeah.
Cheese, gravy, and fries. Like, you can't go wrong, right?
No,
Speaking
it's
of just different things in Canada and stuff, I don't know. I'm assuming that Hulu is worldwide, but I don't know if you watch it or not. But the show Letterkenny.
Well,
How
yeah,
is
Letterkenny.
that? Is that a good representation of the people there?
Well, not all of it. That's mostly, country, far out country. Is where you see more of that, not so much in the city. I'd say if you wanted a TV representation that's a little bit closer, maybe Trailer Park Boys.
oh
They
yeah,
kinda they cover
Okay.
everybody.
I love the
Right.
Trailer
Alright.
Park Boys. But that's
But yeah,
so
no, we don't
American.
get Hulu.
The Trailer
Trailer
Park
Park-
Boys to me
no,
is highly American. Like I think that's a lot of.
I think
a lot of that stuff is,
when you say that, I think highly Southern.
Yeah.
Like Southern America.
absolutely.
Like, just like we don't claim those guys. That's not part of what we consider America.
No, they're Canadian for sure, through and through. Yeah, Letterkenny. That's more farm life talking. It's not so much in the the
No,
urban world.
I just had to ask because I've actually just recently started that show and it cracks me up. So I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, like I'm seeing like the Canadian content. You guys are just gobbling it up. Like the Trailer Park Boys and now Letterkenny. You guys are just
Well, have you
gobbling it up.
seen the state of things in America lately? We want to be you guys right now, and we're just
We
afraid
have
to admit
no
it.
choice but to gobble up media right now. We're watching the
Yeah.
Tiger King, for God's sakes.
Everybody's watching the Tiger King.
I know it, man.
My wife put it on. I looked at her. I'm like, what is this? She's like, Tiger King. I'm like, oh,
This is the best
okay.
thing
Here we
ever.
go.
And everybody popping up about this. I got like 2
Oh.
episodes in, and I had to go see the baby. She woke up, so I don't know how many she got through.
Oh,
I held
man,
off on
is-
it.
is-
I held
it is
off on it
something
as
else.
long as I could. I was like, I saw all the hype, and I'm not usually one for hype. And I was like, man, I don't know. It looks like it could go either way. And then yesterday or the day before, my wife actually came to me and she was like, so I think we're going to have to watch this Tiger King thing. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
So we
I
started.
haven't
it's like
seen that.
it's like a car crash. You can't look away.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Really slow car crash. Really drawn out.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just watched
man,
the
you
first
will.
episode last night. It's ridiculous, dude. It's absolutely
Yeah,
hysterical.
It's so crazy, hysterical, and just off the wall that's what makes you sucked into it.
This guy,
Because you're just
that's
ready
the
for
main
the craziness.
this guy that's the main character of the show is literally like he wears every hat known to man. He's a
Yes.
zookeeper. He's married to 2 men, so he's polygamous, and he's also a magician and a country music singer.
Yeah.
He's got 2 albums out, and
Yes,
his
he's-
voice isn't even that
Yeah.
bad.
28 songs, 16 music videos,
Yeah,
What
2
channel?
albums. Netflix.
yeah, it's on Netflix.
You can't miss it. It's the first thing that pops up.
It's on. Yeah, it's everybody's watching it.
But
Everybody.
anyway, yeah, it's some TV, all right.
So
It's something.
Dave, I want to ask you because we're all kind of, I mean, obviously the entire world is dealing with this coronavirus outbreak. And on the pandemic side of the putting challenge, what is everything looking like to you guys up in Ontario? I mean, here all across America, it's like everybody's doing something different. Every state has a different set of recommendations. Like here in Nashville, our parks aren't closed, but cities around us are closing their parks. We're having a big problem with, well, I say a problem. You know who you are. A lot of the people here in Nashville. I mean, like our most popular course is staying packed every day. There's tons of people out playing disc golf. Not nobody, but a large portion of disc golfers in Nashville are not paying any attention whatsoever to what the CDC
I get
and
to
the
play devil's
WHO is.
advocate.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Metro hasn't closed the courses, or the parks, which that's their choice. We can offer recommendations. Obviously, we're going to encourage you not to play in large groups, but it's very hard to sit there and say while the government's encouraging people to go to parks, like, hey, don't pack the disc golf courses, And it's kind of a double-edged sword for our community because we definitely want to help curve, the spread, but at the same time, like we're outdoors style people, and when the local government saying, yeah, get out and exercise, just don't do it in big groups. It's like, so they go out and then they're forced, to either join up with a bunch of people or go by themselves, and 9 out of 10 times peer pressure wins, and that's where it's going to end up being the winner for everybody else.
I see what you're saying to a certain extent, and that is definitely
Yeah.
a legitimate part of the argument that these guys have. But you can just read their comments and their posts on Facebook, and you see that the majority of them are clearly saying, like, I'm not scared of it. It's not going to get me.
Right.
I'm staying this many feet away from people. And it's like, dude, every one of us has played a round of disc golf. and you show up at Seven Oaks, even if you're intending on playing by yourself and social distancing as best you can. I mean, like, you show up there and there's 12 people standing at hole one's tee pad, and it's all your friends that you haven't seen in a few days. I mean, like, it's easy to slip and like let your standard and your precautions kind of fall to the wayside. I don't want to make a big negative thing out of it, because this is our family we're talking about, and I love all of these guys, no matter how, aggravated I am that more people aren't just getting on board with what all the experts are saying we should do. So I'm not going to make a big negative thing out of it. It's just, I'm interested to see, because we've got people vandalizing baskets on courses. Some clubs that are pulling baskets off of courses. I would love to be able to do that, but we have so many courses, and the way of the infrastructure of our scene here in Nashville, like, we've got different groups of people that are kind of over each of our courses, and most of the courses, the baskets on them were paid for by a large group of people. So it's, even though, like, say I'm the president of the club here in Nashville, I can't just arbitrarily go start pulling baskets off of courses with, you know what I mean, without talking or even trying to find out who all I would need to talk to get everybody on the same page. And it doesn't make it it's hard for us to encourage people to stay at home when Metro Parks is leaving the parks open, because they're, as usual, not really thinking about the details of how disc golf operates. They're thinking more in terms of how other people are using that space, like hikers and bicyclists and different things like that. If there was a mandate that somebody in charge said, hey, we're blocking the entrance, you can't go to the disc golf course, that would obviously solve a big part of the problem. And you see a lot of municipalities and cities doing that very thing. But, again, you look all over the United States, and every state, every city, every county is doing things completely differently, because there is no universal mandated, everybody do this. Everybody's kind of free to make their own interpretation of what's being said. So what's it look like for you guys up there in Canada, Dave?
Pretty much the same. It's the same thing going on. Like, personally, I've been in the house since March 12th. I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home. So I've been home since that day. I want to get out and play so bad, especially now the weather's getting better. But yeah, it's the same thing. Our provinces, just like your states, they have their own government as well. So, like, our federal government, our prime minister's telling everybody, same thing, stay home, don't go out unless you have to. They went ahead and closed just recently all, like, the federal parks. So I know for sure, like, our Ontario government, they just released now that they've closed all of our parks. Our provincial parks have been closed for a little bit now.
Wow.
Now they've gone ahead and closed all our green spaces. All they're still allowing you to do is to go and hit up the walking trails. So everybody's using, like you said, everybody's using that, well, you can go to this walking trails. You can still be safe, just keep your distance. Well, the trails are in the same area as the course is in. So I'm just still going to go play. I can go play. I'm playing by myself. Everybody just thinks that if I just go play by myself, or it's just a couple people, it's going to be okay. You're still traveling around. It was a windy day. Like, I was reading, you sneeze in the windy day, it's still going to get traveled behind you or in front of you further ahead, right? It's staying in the air for long enough time. I know some of the courses around here have gone out now and actually bagged their baskets.
Yeah.
The parks are starting to say, we're going to, stay out of them. Some of the clubs are trying to stay ahead of the city, because we don't want the city to come in and touch our baskets. It's fine if we need to do them, let's get them out of there to stop people from going in. But we would rather pull them ourselves and store them ourselves, because then we know day one, you guys are good to go back outside. We can put those baskets back in the ground.
Yeah.
The city takes them. Who knows when they're going to make time? We're not a priority to them. So I know a lot of clubs have gone out and they've bagged them with garbage bags, put the caution tape around them, or they've gone and zip tied all the chains together and lifted them up in the basket. We've been putting out signs. It still didn't stop people. I heard that after they bagged them, like an hour or so after, there was a group of at least 5-6 people out playing the course with the bagged basket.
Yeah, I've heard of them pulling the baskets and then just playing position golf as well. Just
Well,
anything
yeah.
to it.
You look at what
Funny
happened at
enough,
Pier
I've got
Park in
a,
Oregon. Somebody took a set of bolt cutters to the basket and cut the chain and the chain
I
or the
saw
cage
that.
and the chain support completely loose from the pin on like 4
Yeah, I saw
baskets, I
that.
think. So I mean, that's what I'm saying is like it's kind of like that vigilantism, taking matters into your own hands kind of mentality. Like maybe not at all of our courses, but I could definitely see at Seven Oaks anything that we tried to do as the club. Like if we were to go out and put signs out or put anything on the baskets or anything like that, it wouldn't be an hour before somebody would come along behind us and undo all of it. That's the mentality that's going on there, which is what makes it a problem is, just the lack of solidarity and unity and agreement on how to handle everything. Dave, I don't know if you were on when we were kind of mentioning this, but Dr. Hoy over here, he's an infectious disease expert. He's a pediatrician specializing in infectious disease, but he's been kind of our guiding light for our disc golf scene here. Kind of everybody kind of argues and plays armchair expert and speculates back and forth. And then every once in a while, I asked Dr. Hoy, hey, can you make a post and just tell everybody what you're thinking? Because it means more coming.
Yeah, we're trying to. Yeah, and there's many studies coming out, and then you'll see like anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs, and COVID-19 don't use NSAIDs like ibuprofen. That's not been proven. The World Health Organization still recommends that if you need NSAIDs to control temperature or use them, you are able to use them. Also, we had a thing about all the malaria drugs, but there's currently no FDA approval, and there was some other remdesivir clinical trials going on, antivirals, but there is a lot of hope that some of these, and then there's like the new test, the 5-minute bedside test that they're trying to get rolled out. So I think the main thing is just knowing where to get the proper information. So CDC.gov and coronavirus.gov actually is the main one, because there's a lot of information out there that people are being spread, or it doesn't live in the sun, it doesn't live in the cold. Oh, it's getting warmer here, it's going to be gone. And some of these memes about like the virus doesn't move, people move the virus is actually kind of true. Like, the virus infects a host, and then they've seen a lot of asymptomatic shedding or pre-symptomatic, meaning you may be shedding significant copies of the virus, more copies than younger people under the age of 30. And so say, for example, disc golfer needs a ride, posts on Facebook they need a ride, they get picked up by somebody else, they stop at a gas station, they may, touch a couple of different drinks before they select whatever they're going to get to drink. They go to the course, they don't wash their hands, they have to exchange money because it's a bet, and they exchange money, and then they go home and they're living at their parents' house in the basement. Their parent gets sick, they have diabetes or hypertension, they get really sick, or they go to somebody else. And so it's, yes, you may feel fine and stuff, but you could still be shedding asymptomatically. So it's those are the things that I'm thinking about. And it's just, still goes back to common sense, but also we can't, there's not a lot of penalty for breaking these things as far as, being out of the park. And I get it too. You go to the park to see your friends, you're going to want to play with them. So that's why also just staying. Yeah.
So yeah, I've heard that you're doing fines in some areas, and it's
there's some counties.
You can't really throw them in lockup because you don't want to keep people confined.
Right.
And I was listening to an episode of I think it was Reveal on NPR the other day, and it's they're having issues with prisons with what to do with inmates in prison, because not everybody in prison is there for life, and they don't go to prison with a death sentence. They go maybe for 5 or 10 years, and they're looking to get out. But now these guys are looking at facing serious consequences because they're so confined.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of different issues all over the place. And so, like you were saying, Zach, you mentioned common sense, and to me, it goes down to a lot of common sense, before anything else.
That's not common anymore, though. That's the problem.
No, it's not. No, it's
right.
not.
It hasn't come
ever since the internet.
I tell
Yeah.
everybody, Idiocracy is a future telling. That movie
It's the only.
is telling
I think
us exactly
my
what's
favorite
going
one is it's the only movie that started as a comedy and became a documentary. But the
Yeah.
Dr. Hoy, when I laughed a minute ago while you were talking, that wasn't because of anything you were saying. It was all good information.
okay.
I was laughing because I was watching Marcus fall asleep.
Yeah.
I was on the phone.
He was
I
like,
on the phone.
But you were just talking about that and how common sense isn't common, but
I've been working all day.
a lot of that is not. A lot of that is the information that we're getting. So Dr. Hoy mentioned the CDC and going and finding the right source for that information. Well, it just so happens that I was looking up something the other day and I was wanting the CDC site and I just threw it in Google, CDC, number of corona virus infected. Literally, I had to go to the second page of Google to get the CDC site because the entire first page was either ads or the Washington Post or the New York Times. And these are news outlets, not source, information sources.
Yeah.
But that's all that's on there. So, when you talk about that common sense not being common, it's also a lot about what we're being fed. Because if you look at Google statistics, I think it's like 75 to 80% of people never go past the first page of a Google search.
right.
Or they just go to Facebook, and if 10 people have posted it,
Well, Facebook has got to be true. That's right. I shared it, so it's got to be
Because
true.
you find somebody in one of your friends' feeds that says, "Hey, have you seen this article?" And somebody else finds another friend's feed that says same article, two separate sources that they all generate from the same place, but then it's more fact. And then people start commenting on it, and you show them a logical, yeah.
I find half of those posts that people are putting up about, anything that's not really true, these false posts, it's just they're catching the headline and then just sharing it. They're not even reading the article. They're just sharing it out.
That's most things. That's most things these days.
Yeah.
And then
everything is
like half-ass defend it in the comments, and you're like, oh my gosh.
It's easy to just repost and to look it up and see if it actually is true. So
I've just been telling everybody,
just don't be lazy. Just do your research. Do yourself some self-respect and yourself.
Are you saying no lazy social media posts?
No, I'm just saying, like, just if you're gonna look for information and you want to know actual fact, and if you want to post that, by all means, post it so people know. But if you're gonna do that, don't be lazy. Like, at least find your sources and do the research so you don't make yourself look like an ass.
And I stumbled upon an analogy that I thought was kind of appropriate, but it was that, everybody's saying that they're being careful and that they're not worried about getting it because they're in the prime of their life and they're in good health and all this stuff. And obviously the obvious comeback to that argument is, well, it's not about you. It's about everybody that you could share it with. And whether, it doesn't matter as much whether you're safe from it as everybody else. And like, the way I look at it, man, is no matter what the reason is, you leave your house at all. Anytime you leave your house, you are giving the virus $100 Uber credit and telling it to go, it can go wherever it wants. And, the only way to mitigate the spread of it is to stay inside as much as you possibly can. I mean, obviously everybody has to go get supplies. Everybody has to, keep their life and their livelihood moving. But I mean, when you have a choice like of maybe going out into a field and throwing your disc, getting some field work in, or putting practice and making yourself better at this game that you love for when we do return, it's like they're choosing to go out around large groups of other people in a lot of situations, and there's no necessity for it. And it sucks to watch that become yet another source of hostility and vitriol and kind of go back and forth on Facebook. Because there's, obviously now it's like their disc golfers seem to pick anything, no matter how positive or negative it is, to argue about. And this just seems to be like adding fuel to the fire.
It definitely adds fuel, but in the defense of disc golfers, this isn't just disc golfers who are separated and arguing about this. This is everybody. Everybody is, you got half of people who are like, let's do this, and the other half are like, what are y'all worried about? Like, this is just BS. And here's the thing: when you look at the numbers, when you look at it on like comparison basis from population to actual infected rate and actual death rate, it's not very high. I don't even know if it reaches an actual percent of our population. However, that's the purpose of what we're doing, is to keep it that way, you know, and a lot of people aren't seeing that side of it. And it's just a debate, and it's just an argument between everyone, not just disc golfers. That was kind of my point there, was just, it's not just the disc golfers. Yeah, it is because they live in the real world, but there's so many people arguing this right now.
If you watch
to do.
Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, the problem I'm finding right now with all this is the warm weather is coming. We all want to get out of the house, right? We've been locked in the house for the last couple of months for this winter. So everybody wants to get out, and the government has been good, at least up here. They've been good, and they've been kind of on top of it, and they've been nice in saying, please, just stay home. You guys are adults. You're smart. You can see what's happening on the other side of the world because of all the social media and the internet. You can see what's happening, and it's coming here. We can get rid of it faster if everybody listens to stay inside. It's going to be gone. Sure. But no, everybody's got to go do whatever they want to go do. And this past weekend that we just had, it was really nice. And the Toronto beaches, I saw pictures, packed full of people, just hanging out, walking around, riding bikes, just packed. After that got around, that's when our Ontario government said, nope, that's all closed now.
Yeah.
No, it's closed. Yeah. It's closed. You show up. If there's a cop there, we'll fine you. And they keep telling us over and over, stay inside. If you don't listen, we'll make you stay inside. Basically is what they're telling us.
Yeah.
And we don't want to give, you never want to give the government that much power, right? Over top of you.
No.
But it sounds like, our government's warning us. I see it coming because people aren't listening. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to start crying out, well, I can't leave my house at all now. Now I got to show proof that I'm going to get groceries instead of just going somewhere to hang out.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think that at least we are on a slippery slope, not just the U.S., but a lot of places around the world, Canada, Italy right now, I think like 3.7% of their population is infected. And obviously it's a smaller country, but we are on a slippery slope because this could go either way. I mean, this could go the favor that we're all hoping it goes, and that slows down, hits the plateau, slows down, starts tapering off so we can get back to normal life. But like, as you said, people don't start really taking this seriously. We could be on that downslope, and then that's when the government will step in. And if you think that they won't step in to stop this or at least slow it down, you're sadly mistaken. There are definitely laws that allow them to do that.
Yeah, I had this conversation with my wife the other day.
What happened to your background?
Oh, it was making
my
video.
To cut you off.
No, it's fine. It was making my video lag. It was like my mouth wasn't moving at the same time as my words were coming out. So I just turned.
Gotcha.
So I mean, it was cool while it lasted, but then it was starting to bug out my brain. But no, it's one of those things where it's dude, I get it. Staying inside sucks. Like, I mean, for me, we've been so busy with disc golf here in Nashville for so long. Like, I've been enjoying the hell out of quarantining because it's been years since I had more than a day to just sit in the house and do nothing. And I think I went like 4 or 5 hours without looking at my phone the other day, and it was wicked awesome. So, but then, you enjoy that for like a week. Like I took a week or so to just not think about anything disc golf related and really give my brain a total reset, play video games, just totally just veg out. And then I started getting antsy. And so I get it, man. It's like, it's not a fun thing to stay away from all the people that you care about and that you want to hang out with, all your best friends. It's not an easy thing to do. And it gets to really messing with your mental stability after a certain point. But it's like, especially when you put people in that kind of a situation where they're feeling that level of tension, and then you give them a little bit of an inch by saying, no, we're not closing the parks. You can go out and you're encouraged to get some outdoor exercise. You're encouraged to go out there and move around and walk and hike and walk your dogs and all this stuff. That's the inch that you give people that turns into a mile. And
Yeah. Well, that's where his challenge comes in. I hope that, like, when we're given that inch, like, go outside, enjoy being outside, and go do this putting challenge. You can do it indoor and outdoor. From what I understand, you can. You can both be in both positions. So why not go do it? Like, and like you said, the pressure point and like the brag. Like we were just talking about the guys who like it's when you start sinking them, it's no longer about how many you made, but how many times you're walking back and forth to get those discs.
Yeah.
And so
that's why we wanted to start this up.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
And at least with it being, worldwide, right? Everybody's still connecting. Everybody's still talking. You're getting to see people on video. You're still getting to comment. You're getting that interaction. It's not so face to face, but at least it feels like you're there. Like we're running an actual putting competition each day.
Mm-hmm.
And you show up. It's like a flex start putting competition. You show up, you do your putts, you leave. Next person comes in. There's still a little bit of that communication and community going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's that extra bonus of that Facebook Live? You're keeping out the knuckleheads trying to get over, but then you're also allowing those other knuckleheads who are going to give you a little grief about making one or two, and not getting the third or fourth. You know what I mean? And it puts that pressure there. So that Facebook Live adds that extra bit. I think that's really cool. And as you said, it makes you feel like you're there. I know when I was watching Will putt, I didn't comment on it or anything like that because I know he couldn't see it, but it was at the same time I wanted to rag him a little bit. Like, you elbow faulted there. I don't think
that's a big part of it.
We're trying to get everybody to start calling people out now.
Yeah.
Call whoever
Trash
you want
talk.
out, right? Yeah.
That's everybody's favorite part of disc golf.
With it.
That's it. That's like I said before. This should not be about the prizes. That's just an added bonus. If people started complaining, I'll chop it. I'll say, all right, thanks, sponsor, but we won't do it because people are complaining that they're not getting anything that they want or it's not fair. It's all random. So you're going to win more the more videos you do, right? If you do it twice a week, then you got 2 entries each week. And that's where all the prizes are in the random stuff. It's not the weekly winners. You're going to get like a disc or a towel or something as the weekly winner.
Mm-hmm.
But, I didn't announce this either, but we're going to have trophies.
Oh, nice.
Was it Phoenix Disc Golf? Yeah, Phoenix Disc Golf reached out to me and asked if they could donate trophies for us. So I didn't make a post about that yet because we're kind of figuring out what we're going to do. But I think what we're going to do is just take all the weekly winners, throw them all against each other for the champion. So they're going to do a trophy for each division.
Style.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That's what we'll probably do at the end to cap it off. And then they'll send out a custom trophy to each of the winners.
How awesome.
Can you imagine that? Like having that on your wall, like you were the champion of the coronavirus global pandemic.
Yeah, talk about a souvenir.
Like bragging rights for life. Okay, because how often does this happen?
If you win this, can we not say that you are the best putter in the world?
You're the COVID-19
champion. Make an argument for it. Yeah, at least from 20 feet.
at least from 20 feet, right? But yeah, no, that's pretty cool to have something like that. Like, I don't know, is it going to end up they can end up all over the place, right? They'll be issued out throughout the world, which will be amazing.
It's go ahead, Will.
Okay, I'm going to take this one.
Go for it.
No, I was going to say just how awesome it is, all the tools that we have at our disposal to kind of do stuff like this. I mean, Facebook Live. Imagine, suggesting that something like that was going to be our reality 5-10 years ago. It's, things like Google Sheets and Google Forms and being able to automate.
Don't talk about that. This is the podcast, not a board meeting.
Hey, I'm just saying, it's really, really cool that we have stuff like that. We wouldn't be able to have something like this to continue to bring us all together without the technology that we have. I think that's really cool. But that being said, even with all of those tools to help you and kind of self-automate everything, just watching, because we're all TDs. I don't know if Marcus has TD'd stuff. I'm sure you have, but like three of us
No,
are.
no.
Okay.
He's yelled at some TDs before.
Yeah.
Does that count?
No, he's always been pleasant. But three of us, me, Jay, and Zach are on the board of directors for Music City Disc Golf, and we're all TDs. So thinking and understanding from a TD's perspective, and especially in light of you saying, mentioning how quickly all this came together, and even in an organic way, it was just like tumblers falling into place really rapidly. Looking at what you're doing and how many people are involved in it, and the little bit of experience with these things that I have, logistically, this has got to be really, really involved and has got to be taking up a lot of your time. And I'm curious to know what was your process? What was the process like for you? What was that chain of events like when this thing just hit the ground and took off with a motor on it? Was there like a panic moment or was like, were you planning on having this happen, and did you like orchestrate it with that in mind, or did you have to play catch up until you kind of got on top of it?
Before you answer, also add in there the number of hours you spent approving requests.
Right. Because you're not just keeping track of everybody's entries and their scores. You're also tracking, you're doing random draw prizes for 500 to 600 people at a time. You're separating out people that are, eligible for random prizes and people that are not eligible for random prizes. Because I know you can opt out of that and say, no, I want somebody else to win. You've got to manage and make sure that all of the live videos are legitimate. You've got to also manage and make sure all of everybody's results entries are legitimate. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like I'd be pulling my hair out and crawling across the floor at this point.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a lot of hours and a lot of work. When we started it up, like we said, we didn't have the form. It was just go live, and then we were going to just try and manually track everything in a spreadsheet. Go and check the videos. Boom. Okay, this person did this much, and manually do everything. And it just started going. And this is still within the first day. We're like, we can't really keep up with this. And that's when Jen came along, like I said, and said, hey, do you need any help with anything? I said, what can you do? Yeah, we're going to need to. Exactly, right? Like, we're going to need more people to watch videos and make sure everything's legit. And she's like, I can make up a spreadsheet and we'll make up a form. Everybody fills out the form. They put in how many putts they have. It'll get into the spreadsheet. And then all we have to really, really worry about is the leaders, right? Those higher putts that are on the leaderboard, making sure those ones are extremely verified. So she whipped that stuff up within the day. And I think that's the form and everything was going live Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Is when that did in the first week. And then she just said, okay, give me some time to do some coding and we'll take everything from that form and boop, it'll go right into the Google Sheets. And then we'll just set up a link and then you can go right to the leaderboard and it'll automatically refresh like every 5 minutes. So pull in the data. So she just went off and worked. Well, we just kept watching all the videos, making sure things were good. And then she came back and said, it's all live. And it's been working pretty seamlessly since. She's only had to jump in and do a couple little fixes here and there. So
That's awesome.
We got lucky talking with Keith. He's involved. He's one of the presenting sponsors of RPM. And he said, hey, you guys are going constantly all night and all day. I got a team here in New Zealand. Why don't we pop a couple of these guys in here? We'll take your night shift. You guys take our night shift. So we'll work during the day. They'll handle things at night for us. So Keith went ahead, jumped into our group with us, brought in a couple other RPM members, and they've been stellar through the second week for us, double checking everything at night.
That's awesome, man.
The approvals, like it's 24/7, right?
Yeah.
The approvals are coming in 24/7. So we have a little question form set up that we go and check, but pretty much everybody's getting into the group anyways, unless it's one of those people that look sketchy. You always get those friend requests and you're like, this person has nothing to do with anything in my kind of life. I know this is some kind of scam, right?
Minimum
We're just trying to
50
filter
mutual
that out.
friends. Minimum 50 mutual friends. That's a rule that I learned from
Yeah.
Sarah Sinclair, Sarah Lamberson Sinclair. She was like, I don't accept any friend requests if we have less than 50 friends in common.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been looking. You know, some of the stuff has been an invite from somebody that's already in the group that we look like they're really into disc golf. We've been allowing them in because we know there's a lot of people that want to spectate and see as well, and don't have baskets at home, right? So unfortunately, you don't have a basket, you can't partake, but at least join in and watch and all the fun and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll usually look at if they didn't answer any of the questions they were invited. We usually look and dig into them a little bit to see if they actually are involved with disc golf at all. We just don't want a lot of that junk on the page and all that stuff. And everybody's been awesome. It's in the group. There hasn't been any posts that we really have to remove at all. Everybody has been just
That's awesome.
sticking to what it is.
It's totally like, it's one of those really encouraging things because, and I know I keep coming back to this and I don't like that I keep bringing it up, but it's like over the last year to 2 years, the kind of negativity on social media, it had for a large part kind of, I mean, there were pockets of it that would come up here and there, but it seems to like trolling has become a really popular activity within the disc golf world as of the last like year or two. I feel like it's kind of bumped up in activity, and the group activity, the discussion and the interactions on the GPPC group page, it's some of the most positive, unilaterally positive stuff that is out for you to even interact with on social media. It's great. And I think that's honestly, for me, that's one of the most impressive things about what you're doing is there are so many needs for disc golfers during this time with this outbreak. And this putting challenge is meeting almost all of them in a really interestingly integrated way. I mean, first you're giving everybody something to get active with and engage them both mentally and physically. It's feeding their need for human interaction. It's also feeding their need for exercise. And at the same time, you're encouraging people by default to stay at home and adhere to these recommendations that are being handed down to us. So it seems like, was all of those moving parts and pieces part of your motivation when you kind of formulated this idea, or is that just a really happy bonus that came out of the way it developed?
No, that was the main thing. We wanted to make sure everybody was staying home because that's what we're all supposed to be doing right now. Everybody's telling you to stay home. Don't go out unless you have to. So that's why we said, do it on your own property. Don't leave your property to do this. We didn't want people going to the course to go and film their putting video. We wanted to make sure everybody was staying home. That's the only main, big rule, because that's why this all started, was for staying home.
Yeah.
And, we're like, we got to stay home. We still need to be part of the community and active within it. Everybody should be practicing their putting if you're stuck at home. If you can, you should be practicing your putting now. Now is the best time to do it. You can't get out and do those drives that everybody wants to just throw far. Nobody wants to work on putting, right? So go practice your putting now. So we wanted to make sure that was the main thing behind it, is staying home.
Yeah.
And I think the positivity within the group, that's because it was started by Canadians. We're always just so nice, right?
Yeah.
Always
super
so
jealous.
goddamn polite.
Our polite
Yeah,
neighbors
maybe that's
to the
why.
north.
Maybe that's why everybody's being good in the group. They're like, we don't want to offend the Canadians.
I don't
right?
even know what you're talking about.
Don't stir up those Canadians.
Uh,
But no, it's great, and I knew it was going to catch on, but it just went fast. So fast.
dude, that may be one of the. I'm going to bring up another group, and I'm not going to name this group because I do not I'm a member of this group because you guys, Zach and Will both, and Marcus all know me on a personal level, and they know that I appreciate some things that are not exactly PC. So I'm not going to name this group, but your group with the putting challenge has blown up, and then another group that it's a disc golf group, but it has nothing to do with actually a challenge. It's literally just a meme group that's very, very adult.
Was it Disc in Quarantino?
I wasn't going to name it because I didn't want to
what I thought.
I'll shed light on it. But yeah, obviously your two groups in this whole thing have been like the number one things in disc golf. That and Chomez's, different things because they're always so big. But
Yeah, I'm not
those two
hating.
groups have
I'm not
been
hating on
huge.
Disc and Quarantino. Some of those memes
No,
are
I
gold.
just didn't want to.
But it has been interesting to watch it get steadily more and more inappropriate and adult themed as it's been in existence.
As it's gone on, and so there's some things on there that have been posted that have been disc golf related that I don't agree with. So it's like I find funny in a way, but never in a million years would I agree with it in a real life perspective. So it's like I didn't want to hype it necessarily while his group is doing something productive for the sport and for everybody. And I say that because you're doing something great for the people around you, for the country you live in, for your health, but you're also, you're not probably thinking about this because it's so cool and you're all about bragging rights, but you're doing something for your PDGA rated golf game. Like, yeah, I guarantee you doing this the whole time we're under this quarantine, you're probably going to save yourself a couple strokes here or there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
it's a win-win for
You get
anybody in
comfortable in
disc
this-
golf.
You get comfortable at this 20-foot mark, like it's gonna be nothing. Like you're on live, so it's gonna be nothing when you're actually out there in the tournament. Then, right? That's not as much pressure as
Sure.
being live on Facebook where the whole world can see you, right?
Well, I've told Will this. It's like I would rather putt with like 15 people around me for the last putt of a B tier or an A tier for the win than putt at Putty League because there's so many more people watching you putt.
I've talked
You're
about
like,
this
"Ah."
before. I've talked about this before. I've messed with tons of different kinds of formulas or routines when it comes to putting practice. But by far, the most successful and effective thing that I've ever done for putting practice is just a little drill that I did with a friend of mine, Andy. Shout out to Andy Pastel. We would set up a basket in one place. One of us would pick a spot. We would stand there, get in our stance, and we would combine all of our putters. Didn't matter what kind they were. And one person would feed the putters. So you're standing there and you throw a putt. The other person tosses you a disc, you throw another putt, and you just do that over and over again until you've gone through the disc. By the time you've done that, even if you do it one day a week, like for a month, just the development of the muscle memory and the routine and of the mechanics, it becomes second nature. And you don't get those weird mental distractions and jitters when you're in a competitive environment and you've got to make the putts. It's just, it conditions you to make those series of motions in the same order. So
That's that extra step up for sure.
And it doesn't matter if it's only 15 feet, 20 feet. I mean, like that, and that's what I think is going to really surprise people about this putting challenge is that when you come back from this, when events start happening again, a lot of people, it's going to be like I think it's going to be interesting to see how everybody's short game has developed when we all can come back together and play. But
yeah, I think this is really going to up a lot of people's putting game because I know a lot of these people, decent putters hop out, boom, one hit the cage, they're done. I know as soon as that camera went off, they went right back to that stance and they were pounding through those 20-foot putts, getting ready for the next week, right?
Well,
Everybody wants redemption.
I wonder how many people are like spending 20, 30 minutes getting warmed up before they record live.
I sure did it.
I've seen a lot of those comments. Oh, I just banged 20 in a row before I went live, and I missed it on the first one.
Missed the first one.
I remember yesterday when I went to do my first video, I jumped in. I was like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and run through because I had 7. It was a little wet outside from some rain yesterday, and so I had like probably 15 different wardens, but 7 of them were in like classic plastic, like putter plastic. Most of the rest of them were all in premium, like candy plastic, lucid plastic. So I set aside the lucid ones because they were getting slick with the moisture from the grass. So I was like, I've got 7 of these. I'm just going to run through this a few times until I make all 7 more than once. And then I'll do the video and nobody will ever know. And so I did that over and over and over again. And then I was like, all right, I got it. And I went to turn on my live video. And the first thing I saw when I held the camera up to my face was I had this giant sweat patch on my hat that I had put on. And I was like, well, there goes the cat's out of the bag on that. I was clearly practicing before I turned this thing on. And then I went through and made 4 of them, and that was it.
You'd have made 5 or 6 if you'd have been putting with judges, but
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
You spelled
That's what I
warden
used to putt
wrong.
with.
It's a warden with a B. It's not that big a deal. It's just a little bit different. A little
So
bit on the better way of different.
we're having too much fun, and time is flying by. We've been at this for an hour and a half already. But
Yeah, I've got to get off here. My family wants to go to bed.
well, Jay, you can jump off whenever you need to. But I did
Yeah, I
want to.
know. Okay. Go ahead.
There's 1 or 2 more things that I did want to mention to or discuss with Dave while we have him. And of course, now that I mentioned it, they're all going to slip my mind.
Boxers or briefs, and then
Right, yeah.
Cheetos or Cheeto Puffs.
The classic questions.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I guess.
Cake or pie, sir?
Cake.
Brownie or cobbler?
Chips or crackers?
Chips.
Peanut butter and
Okay.
Jam.
Banana.
Spaghetti and lamb and tuna fish.
lemon. You like spaghetti? and
Neither.
Do you toast your
Neither.
bread with peanut butter sandwich?
I will toast my bread for peanut butter. I like it both ways. If the bread is fresh, I just got the loaf of bread, then no
Yeah.
toast. You want that?
Yeah.
You got to get it all sticking
Sure.
everywhere in the mouth, right?
Yeah.
If the bread has been there for a
Absolutely.
few days, you got to toast it so the peanut butter melts
Hey,
into it. a
Jay.
bit.
Yeah.
Jay, here's a trick for you. Take a peanut butter sandwich, you toast the bread, and you just basically can smash it for your kids. It makes like really quick little sandwiches for them. You can like slice it that way, make little squares, finger food. Yeah, and it's good.
You be sneaking them from the
so
kid?
I'm gonna one up you right there. Same thing, but you replace the bread with King's Hawaiian rolls.
Ooh.
Oh no, you're going too far.
Yeah, bro, it's
On a
OB
Hawaiian
after
roll?
that.
Game
Yeah, the Hawaiian
changer.
rolls are so good. Do you have these in Canada? The King's Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah, brother.
Sorry, you're on a different screen. What was it that you're showing?
No. Do you have King's Hawaiian rolls in Canada?
King's
It's like
Hawaiian roll.
bread. It's like a bread.
Wow, we've got to mail it
I
to
don't think
them.
so.
We do. We got to mail you some of these,
We
man.
have to
They
mail
are
it
the
to them.
best. Like you don't have to cook them. You don't have to do anything. Like I just ball them up and just eat them. But we were talking about
I love
toasting 'em
bread.
with peanut butter roll.
I love bread. I'll sit down and eat a fresh toast of bread, no problem.
Dude, you will love these. You will literally somehow get a subscription to somebody that delivers you these in Canada because they are so good.
So-
and
No,
then
I've
you
never
gotta
heard
give
of
me
them before.
something I need to get. Yeah, okay. We're doing it, and we're gonna need your address when we go off air. We'll get your address and we'll send you some of these.
For sure.
I got some French fries. I'm gonna get some gravy.
Yeah, well, you need cheese curds to really make it into the real poutine.
Yeah, how do you
but if
make
don't
it?
have
Cheese curds is another thing. Yeah.
If you don't have
Cheese
cheese
curds
curds,
are
delicious.
just shred whatever cheese you got. Some extra old white cheddar, perfect on it.
All right. Okay.
So
I'll
we've
try it, man.
gone
Okay.
over.
Good.
We've discussed poutine, and we've talked about obviously cheese curds, which the Midwest, Wisconsin, they're known for cheese curds also, but it's basically
They're
Canada.
delicious.
Wisconsin is basically Canada. But we know about, Canadian bacon is just ham in Canada. We know that. But is there a
It
little
doesn't
known
go on pizza.
Yeah. It does that can go on pizza as long as there's no
If
pineapple.
it's in a meat lovers, but no pineapple.
No pineapple.
Yeah, no pineapple.
Oh, I love pineapple on pizza.
Of course
You can't
do,
even
Marcus.
you can't even half it. If somebody wants pineapple, Marcus, I ain't splitting a pizza with you. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
I got
can't
your
do half
pineapple juice on my pepperoni and mushroom. I don't
Right.
appreciate
That pineapple juice just soaks right through the other side.
that. Yeah, it does.
So- My question is there another little known fact about Canada that you can share with us that isn't, in your mind, readily apparent to Americans?
I don't know. Well, I think Zach brought it up that we got ketchup chips. You guys don't have that.
Oh, dude.
Well, we
Dustin-
got three types of Captain Crunch.
Dusty Fournier.
Yeah, Captain Crunch. I when I go to the States, I'm looking for cereal, man. I'm looking. When did Fruity Pebbles change? When did Fruity Pebbles change? I went and picked some up, and it's like Fruity Special K now. It's not Little Pebbles anymore.
I haven't had that.
Fruity,
It's all changed.
Fruity Rocks.
It's their attempt
No,
to
it's
patent
just
sugary
little- it's like-
cereal as healthy.
I love
Wasn't
my
Fruity
sugar
Pebbles
cereal.
basically just like flavored and colorized Rice Krispies?
It was
I don't know, but they're delicious.
no. It was like kind of like
They're
it wasn't
little tiny.
like Tricks, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
little. Oh, is it rice or is it corn? I don't know. It may be like
Corn.
it may just be a.
But
yeah,
now
maybe.
the last pack I picked up when I was in the States, I'm like, ooh, Fruity Pebbles. I'll grab this big bag. And I got
Yeah.
home and it's all little flakes, like Special K flakes. I'm like,
That's
this
Well,
weird.
now
is what I
they
remember.
have Peeps cereal, Sour Patch Kids cereal. It's getting crazy out here with cereal.
I
Yeah,
would
no,
say that
we don't
they
have a lot of that.
Dr. Hoy, when we were at GBO last year, we went over to Derek Savory's place. Dusty Fournier was staying over with him and Nikki, and there was like literally one corner of Derek's living room was filled completely by an enormous trash bag full of various ketchup flavored confections that that Dusty had brought down to Kansas. It was like every kind of ketchup flavored snack chip you could imagine. And I was the biggest hater. I was totally anti ketchup chips until I tried one. And that stuff is no joke, man. Super good.
You got to get the right brand. Some of them are, not so good.
Well, all the brands we have here make ketchup flavored chips in Canada. They just don't sell them in stores here.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
make
I don't
biscuit
know.
and gravy flavored here.
Yeah, dude.
My new favorite
fried
kind is
pickles. Dill pickle.
Lay's
flavored chip.
has a cheddar jalapeno chip out now, which is really good.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Dude, if
Yeah,
you
they're
They
find
do a flavor.
The wife-
They do a flavor contest every year. People submit entries and they make it, and people vote to see who wins.
if you
That's how gravy
find,
and biscuits got to be a flavor.
if you can find them in stores, they're not always available, but there's a flavor of Doritos. It's the only flavor of Doritos worth talking about. It's salsa verde. Like it's salsa verde. It's in a green bag, and they
I
are.
was hoping you weren't going to say the new Mountain Dew.
There's Mountain Dew flavored Doritos.
Yeah. They have tacos
I think
that
you
are
can get
flavored like
ketchup
Doritos
Doritos here.
now.
Anyway,
I think you can get ketchup Doritos
You guys
as well.
love ketchup a little too much, I think.
Put it on
Ketchup
everything,
flavored
right?
I mean, ketchup flavored Doritos and taco shells. What?
well, dude, here in America,
Anyway,
we've
tell
got.
me-
Have you guys ever tried those biscuits and gravy flavored chips? Those things are disgusting. You would
No, I
think
don't
like
think we've
biscuits
had
it. I
and
love
gravy is the most
biscuits and
amazing
gravy.
thing in the world, but those chips are
we have
nasty.
fries and gravy chips. Fries
Well,
and
you
gravy,
would.
but not
Fries and
biscuits.
gravy chips. We have loaded baked
Oh.
potato chips.
Marcus
Hey,
has
Hey,
it.
Mountain
can you
Dew
guys
one?
see this? Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
This is Mountain Dew flavored Doritos. Mountain Dew.
Oh,
That's horrible.
that's redneck beyond redneck.
Only made in
So bad.
Tennessee.
Drink Mountain Dew.
That's the worst thing. That's the worst idea ever. Like, why would you do that?
Mountain Dew, like I'm gonna say this. Mountain Dew was the worst idea ever, even though it's delicious and if I had to
Surge.
choose, it's top 5 soft drink.
Surge.
I'm doing the do, man, but not on a chip. Not on a chip.
Yeah, not on a chip. Not on a chip.
So we
All
are.
right, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We're into it. I'm gonna say I gotta get going. I love all you.
Yeah,
guys.
my
Let's
AirPods are
close it out,
dying.
Will.
All right. Well, I was just
Yeah.
gonna. I've got one more thing to ask. I figured out what I was gonna ask Dave, and then we're pushing 2 hours, so we'll wrap it up. But because I know we're taking up your time, you are working from home. I've seen in the videos that you've been posting, Dave. So I know that's like on top of the putting challenge stuff, and then your day job. This has got to be eating up a lot of your time. But I'm curious, just for personal reasons, what do you do for a living?
Me, I work for Sun Life, the insurance company. I run their, I set up all the access IDs and any issues for like wholesale advisors. So I'm basically an IT guy for some advisors, not our Sun Life advisors, like Investors Group, any of those companies that want to sell our products, I deal with helping them out, getting them access to the site, and making sure everything's working properly.
Awesome.
Boring. It sucks. I'd rather just do disc golf stuff every day, all day.
Dude, I'm
Don't we all?
itching for somebody to give me a disc golf job. And like now this whole virus thing has set those hopes and dreams back who knows how many years. Because nobody can afford it now. How's RPM
No,
Discs
it's really
doing
tough.
with all this? I know a lot of companies are in some really treacherous waters right now. I know, like, I've spoken with several people at different companies, and Innova, Discraft, DD are all going to be fine, but there's some other smaller companies that are in real trouble. I mean, Legacy, MVP, they've got some big question marks hanging over them. From your conversations with Keith and the guys at RPM, how are they dealing with the economic downturn from all this?
It's hurting them a bit, but I they're in good spirits. They haven't really brought up anything bad about what's happening or anything. They're locked out of their shop right now. They're kind of on a full lockdown, so they're not shipping anything out right now at all. Like you said, like Discraft, I know they shut down, and MVP is not sending anything out either.
Yeah,
I know
everybody's
it's
pretty much
Mania.
locked out of their warehouses right now, so there's no distribution happening.
It just sucks because I think RPM was working on a new mold to be coming out soon as well, so that's going to end up being delayed, I believe. But they're in good spirits. They jumped on, said, "Hey, whatever you guys need for this event, we're going to give it to you." So
Awesome.
they're keen on huge on the sport on the support. Like they jumped in huge over the winter time. Craig and I were together. This was Craig's brainchild. Was banging chains for charity. Over the winter, nothing's happening. So we took our club, the Paris Club, and challenged every other club in the area. And what we did is the Paris Club would go out to another club. Say we went to London, we'd show up, and it was a match play between the other club. It was $5 to get in, and you had to donate some kind of non-perishable food. And we collect all that, and then the winner of that day, whichever club won, they got the money to go donate to a charity of their choice. The loser from that day, the other club, got all the food to go donate to the food bank of their choice. So we did this over a few different clubs. I think we ended up with 7 or 8 different carloads full of food to donate, and $1,700, $1,800 was donated to charity at least as well, I believe.
That's
So
awesome.
it turned out great. And then we just went into this. We stopped that and had just starting to get ready for leagues and the season, and then this happened, so we just moved right into the putting challenge.
Okay. Well,
Taking it in stride. That's the best way you can do.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of the putting challenge, one last thing I'll mention. After speaking with Dave this morning, Music City Disc Golf is going to throw a couple prizes in for the random drawings for the putting challenge. So I went through the arsenal, and I got our friend Callie McMorrin, previous guest of the podcast, our friend from Memphis. I've got one of her Tour Series discs from last year from Dynamic Discs. This is a classic hard Warden, and it has got her autograph on it. And I've also got a pre-wedding Eric and Tina autographed Whale Pants Moonshine Warden. So these are going up as random drawings for the putting challenge as well. And real quick, Dave, shout out anything that you want to get out on the airwaves, anything you've got coming up, anything that you would like people to know about, and tell everybody where to find you online and how to follow you.
Well, I'm on Facebook as VW Dave. You can shoot me a friend request. Got no problem having some new friends. Like I said, I run Deadman Discs out of Canada. You can check out the website. It's just deadmandisc.com. There is a Facebook group, a closed group, Deadman Discs. That's where I'm more active. There is an actual store page as well, but the group is where I'm active, and we do random draws and stuff like that every week. Make sure you check out the Goat Towel. They're a sponsor of this. It's an amazing towel, double-sided towel. You got your microfiber and then like your waffle towel on the other side. Simon Lazat is using them as well. RPM Discs, and just stay home, be safe.
Yeah.
Don't go out unless you have to. make sure you join the Global Putting Challenge, Global Pandemic Putting Challenge group. If you can, get the videos in. If you can't, at least comment on the videos, say hi. Our mids are just, they're 24/7. They're around the clock. We're just happy that Keith and the crew from RPM was able to join in with us. That's given us at least a little bit of break to sleep. And I want to thank you guys for inviting me onto here and donating some just to the challenge as well. It's
Sure. Thank you for
really,
doing
really
it.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
dude,
you for being on, taking your time to be here with us.
this has been a real
no
treat
problem.
for us. Yeah. And this is the great thing about this, man, is we got a new friend now. And so we hope that at some point we can, if you can ever swing a trip down to the States to Nashville, man, let us know if that ever looks like it can be a possibility. We'll hook you up,
Stay
man.
at my house
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the Sapphire Lounge.
You can stay at the Sapphire Lounge. Yeah.
We got some new benches.
thanks.
If you guys haven't been in there in a while.
You guys ended up popping my podcast chair. This is the first time I've ever been on a podcast.
That blows my mind, man. Like
We
in the
love
middle,
doing that.
in the middle of all
No
this,
snaps.
when all that anybody is doing is either the putting challenge or trying to produce media content, the fact that nobody's asked you to be on a podcast yet just blows my mind. So
yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like Keith's wife, she's got a journalism background. She reached out to us and wrote up a little article. She had a meeting with me, Craig, and Jen, and wrote up some stuff. And apparently they've sent it out to the news media there in New Zealand to try and get a little bit of exposure for it as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, I was surprised that well, not really surprised, but it would have been nice to see a few other podcasts jump in. But hey, you guys did it,
exclusive.
and thank you for that.
Well, I don't want to shame anybody for like insinuating that it was some kind of a failure on anybody's part by not asking you, because I don't know what Terry and Bobby and all them have going on, but I will say their loss is our gain, and this has been a real pleasure. And dude, we'd love to have you on again, maybe after the challenge wraps up. I mean, obviously you're about the only game in town right now, so we're going to be struggling for any other newsworthy
Why is that on?
guests. So
Yeah, for sure. Anytime. I'm
you do that.
love to come hang out again. It was a lot of fun.
all right, man.
Jay.
Well, I know everybody's got stuff going on, and obviously there's like a hurricane ripping through Jay's room right now because I can't hear
Sorry.
anything else. But
Sorry, Rilla.
but anyway, yeah, Dave, thank you so much. Thank you to Craig and all the other guys that are, and girls, Jen, and everybody that's behind the scenes helping you run this, because like I said earlier, there's a huge benefit and a huge value of this to the disc golf community right now. And we're grateful. I'm personally grateful that there's somebody like you guys out there putting something like this on at this time. It's really encouraging and it's really positive. I love watching the videos and seeing the smiling faces and everybody's still kind of playing disc golf together, which is really awesome to see.
Well, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, for sure.
I got a story back from Jen Snow. She was speaking to one of the people that did the challenge, and I told her after I heard this, I'm like, we can shut it down right now. We can be done with the challenge, because what she told me just made my day. One of the guys was doing this putting challenge, and he apparently has been bugging his son forever to come out and play with them. He had no interest. He got a son, I guess, to go film him do the putting challenge. His son went ahead and did the putting challenge, and then after they finished, he was still outside for a couple hours practicing putting. He was just like that.
That's so awesome.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. We did this.
Right.
We can't do anything better than this. We got some kids that's hooked. That's phenomenal. We've done an amazing job just for that one person. I'm very happy to hear that.
Absolutely. If you had accomplished nothing else with all this, there is at least one more kid in the world that has got the disc golf bug and is going to be out there making a name for themselves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that just totally made all this work that we did for that first week, all those hours, that made it worth it right there.
yeah. Well, Dave, thank you again, man. I won't take up any more of your time tonight. Grateful for you taking the time to be with us, and this was a lot of fun to do again for sure.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
And boys,
Absolutely.
I miss you guys. It's great to have you all in the room, and love you. And we'll try and do this again next week. So,
Oh yeah.
Sounds good, Will.
all All right, guys.
Take care, guys.
See you,
Bye,
buddy.
buddy. See ya.
See ya.
Let the bass kick.
Bye, Will.
Bye.
Bye.